Oh my God.
Oh, dude, you're like a little superhero, man.
Oh my God.
Hey tropical fish keepers, Aqua Alex Cardinale here, welcoming you to my flagship aquarium keeping show. Welcome to Aquatic Wetline, where I, Aqua Alex, will discuss everything and anything aquarium hobby related, whether it's freshwater or saltwater. I will discuss my top 10 favorite fish and more, and give you information on the aquarium hobby. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it on social media. And remember, hit the like button. If you have any questions on tropical fish, post them in the comments. Now, let's get this episode of Aquatic Wetline started in Hello, fish keepers! Welcome to Aquatic Wetline. I'm your host, monster fish keeper, Aqua Alex Cardinale. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of Aquatic Wetline. Tonight on Aquatic Wetline, I am going to do another top 10 countdown. But this time, I am taking a break from saltwater fish because our last 3 top 10 have been on my favorite saltwater fish. Instead, tonight I am going to talk about my top 10 favorite freshwater fish from Africa. Now, we all know that I admire fish and keep fish from South America. But I also love fish from Africa, and I have kept fish from Africa before. Now, a majority of the fish that I have kept from Africa happen to be from saltwater, but there are a couple of freshwater species that I do love and that I have kept before. And we're going to talk about some of those species tonight. As a matter of fact, 5 of the African species we're going to talk about I have kept before or I am currently keeping now. Tonight, 2 of the species that I'm going to talk about I currently have, and many of the species that I'm going to talk about I plan on getting in the immediate future. So this is going to be a rather fun episode of Aquatic Wetline. So I'm going to give you information on each species of African fish that I'm going to discuss. I'm going to share pictures of that said fish. And then towards the end of the show, I've got 5 videos I'm going to share with you. And also, I have a very big announcement to make at the end of the show regarding a new series coming here to Aquatic Wetline. Now you, my fish keeping audience, can be part of this show as always. What are your favorite African freshwater fish species? Let me know in the comments. There are plenty of freshwater fish that live in Africa. Lots of African cichlids, lots of catfish, and oddball species. So what are your favorite African freshwater fish species? Post them in the comments and let me know. So without further ado, as they say, let's go ahead and get this show started. Remember, my top 10s are in no particular order. I love all these fish equally. So remember that. And we're going to start with an African cichlid that is one of my favorite cichlids from Africa, and probably the only African cichlid besides jewel cichlids that I would consider keeping from Africa. And that is the Frontosa Cichlid. Frontosa cichlids are definitely very beautiful. I mean, look at the banner on the screen. That is a beautiful cichlid. Now, there are several different color variants of Frontosa cichlids, including the Zari blue Frontosa, Calva Frontosas, and Tanzanian six-stripe Frontosas. The Frontosa cichlid is commonly found in several large lakes in East Africa, including the world's second longest freshwater lake, Lake Tanganyika. The fish spends most of its time in the lake's depths, surfacing only to find food. The natural habitat of the Frontosa cichlid is dark, at great depth, and rocky with minimum vegetation. Lake Tanganyika is one of the richest freshwater ecosystems in the world, and Frontosa cichlids share their home with up to 2,000 other species of fish. Now, Frontosas do get pretty large. They are a pretty large cichlid. They can grow to 14 to 16 inches in length, and males grow up to 2 inches larger than females. So you will need a big tank in order to keep Frontosa. Ideally, you would need like a 125, a 180, or a 220 to keep a group of Frontosa because they do get quite large. And that's why I haven't really had them yet. But in the future, I definitely would love to have 4, 5, or 6 Frontosas in my aquarium because they are beautiful fish. Very, very, really beautiful fish. Now, in the wild, Frontosa cichlids are carnivorous ambush predators that eat herring or sardine cichlids. The fish drift under their prey at dawn and dusk, then snatch their food without expending much energy. Most Frontosa cichlids are also lazy eaters in captivity and will only eat sinking food that falls near their mouth. The best foods for this species are krill, prawns, mysis shrimp, earthworms, mussels, and small fish that sink slowly to the bottom of the aquarium. So you could also provide them with chopped up tilapia. Supplement the fish's diet with sinking pellets made for cichlids and an occasional piece of blanched spinach or kale. Feed your fish a pinch of food 3 times per day for 6 days a week, taking 1 day off to prevent bloat and constipation. Now, it's very important, much like other African cichlids, you don't want to feed bloodworms to Frontosas because they can cause the fish's bowel to inflate, which is very painful to watch on such a beautiful fish like a Frontosa. Now, unlike most African cichlids, the Frontosa can actually adapt to South and Central American water parameters, meaning that they can be kept in normal American tap water with a pH of 7.0 to 7.4. The trick in doing that is to slowly acclimate them to that pH. You can't just go buy them at a fish store where they have a higher pH and throw them into your water. You have to acclimate them for about an hour to 2 hours. And you can do that slowly with a drip acclimation. But I only recommend that if it's a close local fish store, not a local fish store that's an hour or 2 away. This is something where you're going to be acclimating this fish for quite a long time, and you don't want to add any unneeded stress. So, having said that, if it's acclimated right and it's a healthy fish, it can thrive in a South and Central American pH of 7.0 to 7.4. I would only, and I stress, only do that with captive bred Frontosa. So likely that would be small to medium Frontosas. So that would be 1 inch to about 4 or 5 inches. The larger Frontosas that come in, they're more likely wild caught. What a beautiful fish to get us started. Moving along, let's talk about a beautiful African oddball species. And I actually have one of these guys in my 125-gallon behind me. Right now, we are going to talk about a group of fish known as Polypterus. Some people call them bikers. Some people call them bashirs. I call them Polypterus, their scientific name. But you can call them bikers as well, because that's what I call them. I love bikers. They're such an underrated fish in the aquarium hobby. Now, bikers live in various areas in Africa. And the cool thing to know about Polypterus is that they are the only known vertebrae to have lungs, but no trachea. In shallow water, Polypterus inhale primarily through its spiracle, which is also called a blowhole. Exhalation is powered by the muscles in the torso. During exhalation, the bony scales in the upper chest become indented. When the muscles are relaxed, the bony scales spring back into position, generating negative pressure within the torso, resulting in a rapid intake of air through the spiracle. The air is nearly sufficient to fill the lungs. This is followed by one cycle of mouth pumping, which tops off the lungs with the surplus air from the buccal pumping process discharged through the pharynx. According to one hypothesis, deviant tetrapods may have inhaled in this way. Naturalists are unsure whether to regard it as a fish or amphibian. So when they first came across Polypterus, they weren't sure whether this was a fish or an amphibian. Of course, they decided it was a fish because that's what it is today. But back then, they were thinking to themselves, if it were a fish, what type was it? Bony, cartilaginous, or lungfish? That was the million-dollar question back then. Some regard Polypterus as a living fossil, part of the missing link between fish and amphibians, helping to show how fish fins had evolved to become paired limbs. And as we all know, Polypterus are in the family of lungfish. Now, here is a very popular question when it comes to Polypterus in the aquarium hobby. Upper jaw versus lower jaw. And how does that relate to Polypterus and bikers? Well, it's quite simple. Just different species. Most species of Polypterus are upper jaw, and the rest are lower jaw. Let me explain in better detail for you. What is a upper jaw Polypterus? Well, simply that means that the upper jaw protrudes past the lower jaw. Now, the upper jaw Polypterus are the ones that don't get too big. The largest upper jaw species, I believe, is the ornate biker, and that can reach up to 18 inches. So some upper jaw bikers include the ornate biker, the Senegal biker, the Delhaize biker, and the ropefish. So what you need to remember about the upper jaw is that they protrude past the lower jaw, and they're smaller growing bikers. Now let's talk about the lower jaw species. Lower jaw is very similar to the upper jaw, but it's different because the lower protrudes past the upper jaw. So the lower jaw protrudes past the upper jaw. And the lower jaw species grow much larger than the upper jaw. The lower jaw species can get up to 4 feet. So that's pretty big for bikers. And some lower jaw species include my favorite biker, the endlet cherry, the leopardi biker. The leopardi biker is a very beautiful biker. The ansurgi biker and the Plypterus biker. Those are some lower jaw species. And as I mentioned, you'll note that the upper jaw species are generally smaller in size than the lower jaw species. Now, there's also a general theory that the lower jaw species are the more primitive than the upper jaw species, which is really cool. So that is the biker. And later on in the show, in our main event, I'm going to show you images of all the bikers that I've kept in my fish keeping career. I've kept Oronate, I've kept Delhaize, I've kept endlet cherry for a few months before it died, and I've also kept Senegal. So I'll show pictures of all my bikers later on in the show. All right, it's time to talk about a next cool African fish. And this next African fish is actually in the same family as the Plypterus. It's also an air-breathing fish. And that is the African lungfish. A really cool, unique fish, but some people consider the lungfish to be an ugly fish with a face only a mother can love. But I like the lungfish. They're pretty cool. The lungfish is found in a wide range of freshwater habitats in West and Middle Africa, as well as the northern half of Southern Africa. So you'll find lungfish in Guinea, you'll find them in Sierra Leone, Congo River, and Zambezi, for examples. But lungfish are all over Africa. Africa is one of the countries where lungfish predominate. Now, there's a South American lungfish, and there's the incredibly rare and expensive Australia lungfish, but lungfish are predominantly in Africa. And lungfish are air breathers, and they're a freshwater dwelling fish. It is demersal, meaning that it lives primarily buried within riverbeds. Due to the dry season frequently drying the rivers and floodplains in which it lives, the African lungfish can avastate for up to a year. However, it only does so generally between the wet seasons. Now, African lungfish are commonly kept in home aquariums. They are a pretty cool fish, but they can be pretty boring, and hobbyists often get bored with them relatively quick because they only surface to get air or to eat or to attack and kill their tank mates, which could be very, very frustrating, which is why I've kind of been hesitant to keeping a lungfish, because I really don't want a fish that's going to sit at the bottom all day and you can't really have tank mates. But if you have an aquarium, a public aquarium, you could go see lungfish there. Really, really cool oddball fish the African lungfish is. A better lungfish for the aquarium hobby would probably be the South American lungfish, because they're not as unpredictable as the African lungfish is. Now, my dad had an African lungfish that absolutely tore the face off a large iridescent shark. That was a, let's say that was a Grimson mass, to say the least. All right, so we're done with oddball fish from Africa. Now we're going to move along to some predatory characins from Africa. And this is one that I definitely want in my 125-gallon aquarium, because I could keep it for life in my 125-gallon aquarium. and that is the African Old Pike, a very cool predatory charasin from Africa. So it's actually a type of tetra and not a freshwater pike. Now, this is also the only freshwater pike charasin in Africa. It is an elongated fish with a pike-like body. However, this species is a charasin, and the pike resemblance is due to convergent evolution. African old pikes can grow up to a foot long in length. Their back is normally dark brown or gray, while the belly is silver. The head is normally light green or brown with distinct dark brown or black stripes radiating out from the eye. The color and pattern of adult fish is relatively stable, but juveniles are more variable. Now you'll find the African Old Pike from western sub-Saharan Africa, from the Sassandra River in the Kuti Ivory in the west to the Sherry River in the Central African Republic in the east, and southwards up to the Kinki River and Cameroon. The African Old Pike is fishivorous and preys on a variety of smaller fish. It is mainly diurnal and is an ambush predator, waiting amongst dense, submerged, or emergent vegetation until prey comes within range and the fish can lunge at it. The diet of the African Old Pike consists predominantly of cichlids and mormids, although smaller individuals have been recorded eating dwarf catfishes more than cichlids or mormids. The African Old Pike prefers the upper courses of small rivers where the elongate tigerfish is absent or less abundant. It uses weeds and vegetation along with its coloring to avoid detection. I love the African Old Pike, and it's only a matter of time before I get one for my 125. Maybe for my 30th birthday. We shall see. All right. So moving along, now we're going to get to our sixth fish here on our countdown tonight. And this is actually a peaceful predator. It's a medium growing mormid. It's actually an electric fish. It produces electricity through one of its organs. It can be kept with discus and other sensitive fish. It's really peaceful, and the New England Aquarium actually has a beautiful display with this fish. And that is the elephant nose fish, or the Peters elephant nose. Such a cool, unique fish, in my personal opinion. Let's learn about the elephant nose fish, shall we? They are very, very gorgeous. Now, the elephant nose fish are also known as the African freshwater elephant fish. Other names in English include elephant nose fish, long-nosed elephant fish, and Ubangi mormid after the Ubangi River. The fish uses echolocation to find prey and has the largest brain-to-body oxygen use ratio of all known vertebrates. The elephant nose is native to the rivers of West and Central Africa, and particularly the lower Niger River Basin, the Ogon River Basin, and the upper Chari River. It prefers muddy, slow-moving rivers and pools with cover such as submerged branches. The fish is a dark brown to black in color, laterally compressed. They grow to about 9 inches, with about, in the aquarium hobby, would equate to about 7 to 8 inches. They have a rare dorsal fin and anal fin on the same length. Its caudal or tail fin is forked. It has 2 stripes on its lower pendicolar. But its most striking feature, as its name suggests, is a trunk-like protrusion on the head. This is not actually a nose, but a sensitive extension of the mouth that it uses for self-defense, communication, navigation, and finding worms and insects to eat. The elephant nose uses a weak electric field, which it generates with specialized cells called electrocytes, which evolved from muscle cells to find food, to navigate in dark or turbid waters, and to find a mate. These fish can live about 6 to 10 years, and they can grow to be about 7 to 9 inches. They love bloodworms in the aquarium hobby. Maybe one day I'll have a school of these beautiful mormids, the Peters elephant nose fish. All right. Right now we're going to start talking about African catfish. And we're going to start talking about one of my dad's favorite African fish and African catfish, and that is the electric catfish. South America can have the electric eel, but Africa has the electric catfish, which in my opinion is much cooler than an electric eel anyway. So let's learn about the electric catfish. Such a cool, unique catfish. Now, there are several species of electric catfish, and they all have the ability to generate electricity, delivering a shock of up to 350 volts from its electric organ. Electric catfish are found in tropical Africa and the Nile River. They are usually nocturnal and carnivorous. Some species feed primarily on other fish, incapacitating their prey with electric discharges, but others are generalist bottom foragers, feeding on things like inverts, fish eggs, and detritus. The largest electric catfish can grow to about 3 feet, but most species are far smaller. So electric cats have a size range of 5 inches to 3 feet. So that is some cool information on the electric catfish. A cool, unique catfish that you'll find only in Africa. All right. Right now, we are going to go ahead and take a quick intermission. We've already talked about our first 6 African fish. Coming up next, I've got my final 4 African fish that I'm going to talk about, including the MBU Puffer. Also coming up next, I have a very special announcement for a new series coming to Aquatic Wetline this Thursday. But right now, we're going to hear a word from our supporters, Little Egypt Aquarium Club and Fish Keeping for Kids. So, Little Egypt Aquarium Club is home to quality fish food and aquarium supplies. So, if you need a new sponge filter or any aquarium supplies, check out Little Egypt Aquarium Club. And remember, you can save 10% by using discount code ALEX. Aquatic Wetline with Aqua Alex continues right after this quick intermission brought to you by our supporters. Don't go anywhere, fish keepers. We'll be right back.
Are you a tropical fish keeper living in South Florida? You need to check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. Aquatic and Exotic is home to quality freshwater and saltwater tropical fish. You will find African cichlids, South and Central American cichlids, goldfish and koi, and exotic fish. We also supply aquarium supplies like filters and heaters, aquariums, and lights. We also have quality fish food brands. Aquatic and Exotic is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Questions? Give us a call at 772-781-4046. Stop on by and check us out. 1525 A.C. Lockhart Street, Stuart, Florida 34994.
I, Aqua Alex, am proud to announce that I'm teaming with Little Egypt Aquarium Club to offer aquarium hobbyists excellent aquarium supplies and fish food. Little Egypt Aquarium Club is owned and operated and founded by Jeremy Stellhorn, a tropical fish keeper who met me almost 10 years ago because of my show, Aquatic Wetline. And he got serious interest in the aquarium hobby, and he created Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club's goal is to support the aquarium hobby and promote the aquarium hobby by selling quality aquarium supplies and fish food. Little Egypt Aquarium Club has partnered with Everything Aquatic, and you'll find products from Everything Aquatic on the website. Products on the website include breeding supplies, freeze-dried foods, pellets, wafers, sticks and granules, Rapashi aquatic foods, fish medications, driftwood, sponge filters, and more. Oh, did I mention you can purchase live freshwater angelfish from Everything Aquatic on Little Egypt Aquarium Club. That's right, you can get live freshwater angelfish. Free shipping for orders over $200 anywhere in the United States of America. Just for watching this fish keeping video here on the American Alex Cardinale YouTube channel, Aqua Alex and Jeremy Stellhorn would like to offer a special discount for you to use during your purchase. At checkout, use coupon code ALEX to save 10% on your order. Remember, at checkout, use coupon code ALEX to save 10%. Every little bit off helps, and trust me, I love saving money. So why not go check out Little Egypt Aquarium Club with great quality products like Rapashi and Everything Aquatics and even live angelfish. What can go wrong? www.littleegyptaquariumclub.myshopify.com. The link is in the description of today's video. Remember, discount code ALEX to save 10%. littleegyptaquariumclub.myshopify.com. Link in description of today's video. Hey everyone, Aqua Alex Cardinale here. As you guys know, I entered the aquarium hobby at a young age. I was born into the aquarium hobby as my dad had been keeping aquariums before me. And at the age of 12, I got my very first aquarium. I am a firm believer that kids and today's youth should be in the aquarium hobby. That is why when I found out about this book, Fish Keeping for Kids, I knew I had to promote it here on my channel because I'm all about the youth in the aquarium hobby. This book here was written by a 14-year-old boy who entered the aquarium hobby. And this book is filled with some great information. It's got information on all different types of fish, freshwater and saltwater. It's got information on aquarium equipment. It's got information on cycling and setting up an aquarium. All information that will be beneficial and great for kids entering the aquarium hobby. I wish I had this book when I was younger and growing up in the aquarium hobby. So, this book is great for anyone that is going to be entering the aquarium hobby that is younger. It was written by 14-year-old Brian Conway, who enjoys fish keeping, soccer, homeschooling, and fishing. And one of his favorite places to be is the local aquarium store and Oklahoma Aquarium. Fish keeping for kids started as a homeschool assignment, and Brian decided he would publish it to help solve this problem for others. Fish Keeping for Kids is Brian's first book, but he enjoyed writing the first so much he is already working on his next. You can find out more information and follow Brian at fishkeepingforkids.com. Take a look at this wonderful book with all the different fish species and information in there. It's a great, great book. I'm happy to have a copy, and I'm happy to support this cause as well. Fishkeepingforkids.com. Learn all about it on his website and get yourself a copy. I love seeing the youth in the aquarium hobby, and I, Aqua Alex, am glad to partner with Brian. Now back to the fish chat. Do you like the game Jeopardy? Have you ever thought there would be an aquarium-related Jeopardy game? Well, there is now. I, Aqua Alex, am proud to announce that my hit fish-keeping shows, Aquatic Wetline and Life in the Amazon, will be hosting Jeopardy once a month. Aquatic Wetline will be based on the aquarium hobby as a whole, and Life in the Amazon will be based off of South American fish and aquatic animals. Would you like to be among the first to compete on a fish-keeping Jeopardy game? All you have to do is contact Aqua Alex at AlexGoYankees19@gmail.com. That's AlexGoYankees, CARDINALE19@gmail.com, or text me at 413-285-2112. We will get you booked for the recordings. The winners of each game will win a special prize sponsored by a company to be announced on the show. There will be 3 daily doubles per game. Get the daily double correct, you get double points. Get it wrong and you'll lose half your points. There will also be a main event where the 2 contestants with the highest points compete head-to-head to determine the winner. The main event round consists of a single question, with each contestant wavering some points. Whoever gets the question right wins. Aqua Alex, Aquatic Wetline, and Life in the Amazon present Fish Keeping Jeopardy, coming late August 2023. So, we are looking for contestants. Make sure to contact Aqua Alex.
Hey fish keepers. Aqua Alex here. Well, I'm not physically Aqua Alex, but this commercial was created by Aqua Alex Cardinale. I just created a new Facebook fish keeping group, and I'm encouraging you watching this fish keeping video to check it out and consider joining. The name of the group is Yep We Like Fish Keeping. My group is laid back, drama-free, and the focus is 1000% on aquariums and tropical fish. No bullying, no name-calling, no fish police. No negativity will be allowed in this group. Come post pictures and videos of your fish, talk fish, promote your fish keeping YouTube channels and more. So come check it out and join today. Go to facebook.com and in the search bar type Yep We Like Fish Keeping. Then hit join. See you there.
Do you Do you love Sarasalmody fish species like your host Aqua Alex? Sarasalmody fish are the toothy characins from South America and the Amazon. Piranhas, pacus, and silver dollars. Pygocentris, Sarasalmus, Mylius, Metanese and so many more. If you keep piranhas, pacus, and silver dollars, then I have a perfect Facebook group for you. It was created by Aqua Alex of course, and he loves piranhas, pacus and silver dollars. The name of the Facebook group is Sarasalmody Hobbyists, Pacus, Piranhas, and Silver Dollars. Come join and post photos and videos of your piranhas, pacus or silver dollars, talk Sarasalmody, and join the fellow toothy characin lovers. Go to Facebook and in the search bar type Sarasalmody Hobbyists, Piranhas, Pacus and Silver Dollars and hit join.
Welcome back to Aquatic Wetline, and tonight we are talking about my favorite freshwater fish from Africa. And before our intermission, I already talked about my 6 favorite freshwater fish from Africa. And now we are going to conclude the show with my final 4 favorite fish from Africa. And then I'll show you some photos of some of the fish that I've owned from Africa and some videos. And I'll make my very special announcement for a new series coming to Aquatic Wetline starting this Thursday. All right, so the next fish from Africa is actually a whole genre of different catfish species. Synodontist catfish. Synodontis are a very popular African catfish family. There are a plethora of Synodontist catfish that actually make it into the aquarium hobby. For example, you have the featherfin Synodontist, which is Synodontis eruptus, which grows to be about 8 to 10 inches in length. Then you've got the Synodontist decoris, which is the one that I have in my 125, which is a really slow-growing Synodontist that can get about a foot long, but it takes forever to grow. My Synodontist decoris I got at about 5 inches in 2021. And here we are in 2023, probably about 5.5, 6 inches now. And he eats every day, so I don't know why he's not putting on any size. But I find that the Synodontist decoris are the slowest growing of all of the Synodontist species because I grew out many featherfin Synodontists and they have a pretty good growth rate. I have kept Synodontist percula, and they have a pretty good growth rate as well. So it might just be because the decoris is a large growing species and they live a long time that they don't grow that fast. But that's cool because I enjoy my Synodontist decoris or my clown squeaker. He's a very, very cool catfish. Now, Synodontists are actually called squeaker cats because they can make noise when they're taken out of water or when they feel threatened. And they are pests in the wild because Synodontist catfish will actually attack cichlid fry. They will eat cichlid fry and cichlid eggs, which is a pest for most African cichlids. So if you have constant African cichlid breeding in your aquarium, you don't want all those babies, well, then maybe you can consider adding Synodontist catfish to your aquarium. And there are plenty of Synodontist cats in the aquarium hobby. You've got the upside-down Synodontist. You've got the featherfin Synodontist. You've got the decoris. You've got the petricola. You've got the spotted Synodontist, ocellifer. I may have mispronounced that scientific name. But there are at least dozens of Synodontist catfish in the aquarium hobby, some rarer than others, but they're all beautiful catfish that come from Africa. And I will definitely do a show on the entire Synodontist family in the future. I have done an episode on the featherfin Synodontist, Synodontis upteris, and the Synodontist decoris before. And they're on my Aquatic Wetline playlist if you want to check that out. All right, the next fish we're going to talk about from Africa is also a catfish species, And generally speaking, when people hear about this catfish species, they think about monsters, and it is a monster catfish, but there is also a dwarf variant as well. And fitting that it has an African animal in its name, because the animal that it's named after also comes from Africa, and that is the giraffe catfish, one of my favorite monster catfish in the aquarium hobby. I have kept a couple of them before, and I've raised some into monster sizes. The biggest one I had was about 14 inches until I rehomed him. Now, the giraffe catfish is found throughout Africa in lakes and rivers, and is established in other areas as well. It is found in many lakes and rivers, such as the Nile and Lake Chad. Its distribution covers include body of water from East Africa to West Africa. It generally lives in shallow waters with muddy bottoms, and the giraffe cat can grow anywhere from 8 inches up to 3.5 feet. There are so many different species of giraffe catfish that it is impossible for me to say a full-grown size, because I'm not talking about one giraffe catfish species today. I'm talking about the entire group, which has dwarf and the monsters. So I'm going to say giraffe cats can grow anywhere from 8 to 30 inches in length. And they do belong in the aquarium hobby, because there are plenty of dwarf species of giraffe cats from Africa that can be kept in an aquarium. And when you think about it, 30 inches isn't really a hard size to manage when you've got people keeping red-tailed cats, Arapaima, and Pacu. I mean, 30 inches can easily be kept in a 300-gallon or larger. So the giraffe cat is pretty manageable, even though it still gets pretty big. Now, the giraffe cat's diet is really easy. They eat pretty much anything. My giraffe cat loved eating market shrimp, tilapia, and even crayfish. And it also ate pellets and bloodworms and earthworms. They're super hardy, and they look just like a giraffe. And they're one of my favorite catfish from Africa. Very, very cool, unique, oddball catfish. You can't go wrong with a giraffe cat. All right. Our final two fish are one of the top predators of the African rivers. You guys know about the next fish because it was talked about and featured on River Monsters by Jeremy Wade, and that is the infamous African tigerfish. Now, I personally have yet to keep a tigerfish, but I think it would be cool to have one because they are pretty cool predators. They have teeth that look sharper and more dangerous than piranhas, and they get much bigger than piranhas. Now, you'll find the African tigerfish from Egypt all throughout South Africa. Now, the tigerfish can get huge. They can get upwards of 30 inches all the way up to 40 inches. So these guys can get over 3 feet, which is a pretty big fish. Now, the African tigerfish is a ferocious fishivore that hunts in large shoals in the wild. This species is perfectly designed for its lifestyle. It is very streamlined and muscular and has one of the most amazing sets of teeth of any freshwater fish. These are dagger-shaped and interlock, meaning the fish can rip chunks out of its prey. The teeth are visible even when the animal's mouth is closed, which makes for a fearsome sight. It is a popular game fish in its native range, with the largest specimen caught weighing in at 62 pounds. So that is a pretty large fish. Now, in the home aquarium, you're going to need a massive aquarium to even consider keeping this fish, since they can get over 3 feet and they like to be kept in schools. So maybe 300 gallons, 500 gallons, a really large aquarium. And they are known to attack other silver fish. So if you have a silver arowana, silver dollars, tinfoil barbs, or any silverfish in your aquarium, chances are the tigerfish will likely mutilate and maul it, unfortunately. But it is a cool predatory African charasin. It is Africa's version of the piranha, except much, much, much larger. Because in South America, there is no piranha that can even get close to 3 feet. The biggest piranha would be my favorite, the black piranha, and they only get 2 to 2.5 feet. Obviously, the tambaki, the black pacu, does get 3 feet, but that's a pacu and not a piranha, and not fearsome like the African tigerfish is. All right, very, very cool predatory charasin, the tigerfish. Now, when people think of puffers and pufferfish, they think mainly of brackish water puffers and marine saltwater puffers, because that's the majority of the aquarium specimens. Most of the puffers for sale at fish stores are from brackish water or saltwater. But there are a couple of freshwater species that come from Africa, and they are my favorites. They're the monster puffers. And the one we're going to talk about today is the most beautiful of the African puffers. It is known as the MBU puffer, or as I like to call it, the MBU puffer, because it's hard to pronounce MBU, MBU. I just say the 3 letters MBU. Regardless, it's a very beautiful puffer fish. Now, the MBU puffer is also known as the Mbuna puffer, giant puffer, or giant freshwater puffer. It's a carnivorous freshwater puffer fish originating from the middle and lower sections of the Congo River in Africa, as well as the east coast of Lake Tanganyika near the Malgasari River mouth. The species is commonly referred to as the giant freshwater puffer due to its massive size, growing to a length of 26 inches. As such, these fish are difficult to adequately house in a home aquarium, since they require a very large aquarium and appropriately sized water filtration. Sumps and canisters are required for this species. Like all of its relatives, the MBU puffer is capable of inflating itself with water or air when stressed or otherwise frightened. It feeds on smaller fish, mollusks, crustaceans, snails, and worms. Species kept in captivity require a varied diet consisting of shelled foods to help ensure good health and prevent tooth overgrowth. But they are a pretty cool puffer. If you got a large aquarium, then I definitely recommend keeping one. They are really, really cool. And those are the 10 species of freshwater African fish that I am going to discuss tonight. I had to actually eliminate a couple of species because I went over 10. So that means on the next top 10 countdown, it'll be part 2 of my favorite fish from Africa. That's going to be really exciting. Anyway, it's time for our main event now. It's time for me to show off the African fish that I have personally kept. And then we're going to see 5 videos of the fish species that were discussed tonight. And then I'm going to end the show with a major announcement for a new fun series coming to Aquatic Wetline this Thursday. So first, let's see some photos of the African fish species that I talked about tonight that I kept. And here is that giraffe catfish that I was telling you about that I raised to 16 inches. In this picture, I would estimate that he was about 6 inches. Now, this is that same giraffe cat that I got when he was just a baby. He was about 3 or 4 inches in this photo. And within a month, he was about 6 inches. So that shows you how fast the giraffe cat can grow. Now I'm going to show off some images of my Polypterus, my bikers. Here is a Delhaize biker that I was given When I received this Dalhousie biker, he was pretty much already in his adult stages, but he was such a beautiful fish. The Dalhousie biker is absolutely gorgeous. And this is one of my ornate bikers that I raised into adulthood. Very, very cool. Another ornate biker that I had. And ornate bikers, in my opinion, look the best when they are juvenile. I think they're better looking as juveniles. And then we have my albino Senegal biker, which is one of my favorite variants of the Senegal biker. Currently, at the moment, I have a regular Senegal biker. And in the past, I have kept endless cherry bikers, but I really didn't get a chance to photograph them, and I can't find any photos of any of my past endless cherries. But I do plan on getting an endless cherry biker in the future. So when I get one, I'll definitely have some photos and videos for you here on Aquatic Wetline in the future. All right, now it's time to see some videos of the African fish species that I talked about tonight. And I've got 5 videos I'm going to show you. One is of the MBU puffer. Then I'm going to show you a video on Frontosa, tigerfish, African Old Pikes, and endless cherry bikers. So this first video is brought to us by Cobalt Aquatics. And Cobalt Aquatics is providing us a video of an MBU puffer. Check it out, guys. That was a beautiful MBU puffer. Thank you, Cobalt Aquatics, for that video. Here is a video of a beautiful group of Frontosa. All right, up next, we've got a video of some juvenile tigerfish. Here are some baby Polypterus and Lecheries. And our final video is of some African Old Pikes. All right, this has been a really fun episode of Aquatic Wetline. So before I end today's show, I do have a special announcement that I am going to make. Next month, we are going to debut Fish Keeping Jeopardy. And Fish Keeping Jeopardy is going to be hosted by our hit series, Life in the Amazon, and also occasionally Aquatic Wetline will do some Jeopardy shows. But I decided that Aquatic Wetline is going to do a different fish keeping game, and that's going to be a weekly show. And that starts this Thursday. So my special announcement is live this Thursday, July 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I am going to host Aquatic Wetline Fish Keeping Bingo. And after this Thursday, it's going to air every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Now, one episode a month is going to have a prize. So, unfortunately, it's not going to be in July, but one episode in August and September, October, etc. is going to have a prize. And that prize could be either from me or hopefully I can get someone to sponsor an episode of Aquatic Wetline Bingo and also Life in the Amazon Jeopardy. So Fish Keeping Bingo is simple. It's going to be a live stream where anyone can tune in and anyone can play bingo. To play bingo, you really have to be a part of the live stream. You have to watch the live video to be part of the bingo. That's the only catch. So you'll have to be available at 4 p.m. on Thursday to play. So I'm going to have a QR code on my screen. You just go to that QR code, or you can go to the link that I'm going to put on the screen on Thursday, and then you'll be able to play the bingo, and we'll play the bingo together. So it's going to be fun. I'd like to thank my friend Aquarium Daily for giving me the idea to do a fish keeping bingo. I played on his fish keeping bingo today, and I won, so that gave me an idea to do it here on Aquatic Wetline. So it's going to be a fish keeping themed bingo every Thursday, and that's going to start this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. You're not going to want to miss the fish keeping bingo that starts this Thursday. I am very excited to make that announcement, and I think you're going to enjoy the fish keeping bingo. So that starts this Thursday, July 20th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I hope you guys enjoy this fun new series that I am bringing you. All right. Well, that does it for tonight's episode of Aquatic Wetline. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Aquatic Wetline. And don't fret, I'm going to talk about more African fish species in the future. Because like I said, we're definitely going to have a part 2 of top 10 freshwater fish from Africa. But next week, I'm going to do a top 10 freshwater fish from Asia. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and show me some support. As always, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, American Alex Cardinale. Good night from Aqua Alex, and enjoy the fish keeping hobby. Happy fish keeping. Hey everyone, it's your host, American Alex Cardinale, a.k.a. Legendary Alex Cardinale, a.k.a. Aqua Alex, a.k.a. Chef Alex, a.k.a. Protector Alex, a.k.a. Wow, so many personas. One person. This year, I will be turning 30 years old. I can't wait to open a whole new chapter of my life, as I will have now been alive for 3 decades. My 20s will go down in history as being the time I created my podcast and my YouTube channel. I can't wait to see how successful my YouTube channel becomes over the next 10 years. I look forward to seeing what will happen in my 30s. Maybe I'll have a great career or my own business. You never know. Anyway, I'm inviting you, yes you, to be part of my 30th birthday. Live Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. I'll be hosting my 30th birthday celebration on my YouTube channel, and I would love for you to be part of it. Live Tuesday, August 15th, 2023 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. I'll be hosting my birthday celebration. It's going to be a fun show. There will be appearances from Aqua Alex and Chef Alex. Aqua Alex will be getting new fish for his birthday. It's a species of fish I've never kept before, and I'm excited to unbox them and show them to you. I wonder what species are. Chef Alex will, for the first time ever, be doing restaurant reviews, and maybe, just maybe, he will pick his favorite cake or dessert. On top of that, I'll sing my favorite song. I'll also recap my 20s, discuss what I look forward to in my 30s, and plenty more. There will be plenty of surprises, including possibly a trip to a casino or something like that. It all goes down live on my birthday, live Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on my YouTube channel, American Alice Cardinale. See you then.
Now over the that's all, folks.